Here, we'll see if it pops up here. As soon as somebody jumps on here. And I don't know why the Deeper State website is down. I've never seen that error message before. Error establishing a database connection. I don't know what that means. Sean Roller, what's going on, brother? Round 2, let's try again. Yeah, hopefully it's working now. Is it pixelated at all or no? Choppy or no? Shannon Bailey, how are you? What's working? Okay, good. Looks normal to me. Better this time, much better. Congrats on your finish at the marathon. Well, thank you. You look fine now. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why it was jacked up earlier. That's strange. So yeah, we'll just hit the ground running now with any questions. I can't log on to Deeper State for some reason. The internet's down. So all kinds of technical difficulties, both in the live and on the website. So we'll just go with the flow here and fire any questions you have at me, and we'll just hit the ground running. So what you got, ladies and gentlemen? It was brutal for sure. First time I've ever done that. And my feet are killing me. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody at all? Since the email never went out for some reason, there's probably not going to be very many people on the live. Why that email did not go out. Looks fine. Using our cell phone, working now. Yeah, I also can't get to the website doing that. I've never seen that error message. I was on there earlier today, a few hours ago. Someone sore today? Yes, very sore. My ankles are swollen big time. But I didn't use carbs at all throughout the marathon. I didn't really feel like I was deprived of energy or fuel at any point. So I'd be done without carbohydrates. The site was down this AM also. See, I was on it a couple hours ago, and it was working fine. And for me, but then it came back up. Yeah, so I don't know what's wrong with the site. I don't know if it's a server issue or what. Be happening. I apologize for all the technical difficulty, y'all. It's not how it's supposed to be. Your 7-set Sunday wasn't being received for the past few weeks either. I re-signed up, so we'll see. That's strange. I've never discontinued your subscription to the newsletter, so it's odd that you weren't getting it. But I'm glad you're getting it now. I've got to write that today still, by the way. A little behind today. Forgot to thank you for the t-shirt and surprise brick. Awesome. Was able to order a week's supply of bricks as well. Can't wait for them. Yeah, they should be coming in. Some people are getting them today and yesterday. So most, if anybody has any issues with the bricks, but everybody that got them should be getting them tomorrow. So I'm anxious to hear the feedback on everything. Oh, do you know when you are resending the DSK t-shirts? I don't know, honestly. I was talking to Keto Connect. I don't know if that was going to be just like the first round of people or not. So I don't know what we're going to do there. We might do something different next go around. Might have just been like the first phase, first round of people, kind of like a first round thing. I don't know. But I'm actually going to connect this week, so we'll see. We'll kind of put ours together and see if there's any kind of cool giveaway or shirt or something that we'll do for people go to the course going forward. I was part of the first round, yet you know that too. When we done before offboarding, we sent you one though, didn't we? Or did we not? I found the survey thing, but I'm pretty sure everybody got sent one. If not, just make sure I've got your address and I'll get you fixed up. We'll get you taken care of there. Questions coming in now. I live in the hot south of Florida. And Yeah, I'm glad to hear that it was surviving. It's getting colder now though, so that should not be an issue with melting at all. Ooh, wait, Crystal says, what do you do what you are in phase 1 or 2 and then have a mess up or a week or two, start over, continue on? So good question. I generally recommend, it kind of depends on how big of a screw up you did. Like if you just, screwed up a day, it's best just to get up on track. If you screwed up for like a week, then you're pretty far off base and probably need to just start over and start fresh. Or at least start back at phase 2. But when you get off, if you're eating carbs during that screw up, then everything's gonna be really screwed up. If you're keeping it keto during that screw up, you're not gonna have near as much damage control. Hello, Robert. I took your bricks with me on my Disney World vacation for my birthday trip, and they seriously were a lifesaver. My hubby and I were. Yeah, that's a much better option than Dippin' Dots for sure. I'm part of the first round, but still doing it because of the onboarding, so I didn't get a T-shirt either. Yeah, just email the Deeper State email if you were the first round. By golly, we're kind of running out of shirts though. We had a limited supply, so I don't know what size you'll be needing. Just shoot me an email. Is there still no glitching or anything issue-wise with the video? Hopefully, everything's going good there. One question on the forums, and then I think about it, but I can't log on to see what that question was. So if anybody happened to jump on the forums today before the site went down and knows what that question was, I'm getting glitches every now and then. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with all these glitches and everything. This is frustrating. It saves us and it kills us. If I put in a fat percent in phase 2, can I change it to experiment or set back to 0? It's a good question, Christos. So if you haven't done the course before, I would recommend just leaving it at 0, honestly. If you've done the course before, you know with confidence what your preferred ratio is, then you could put a percentage in. But generally speaking, I would just leave it at 0. It's glitching some. Yes, I don't know what's going on with this. It should not be glitching at all. I apologize for the video and audio, ladies and gentlemen. Any questions DSK related? I feel bad doing a DSK live Q&A and talking about my bricks and my feet being sore. I am going to do a video on the marathon recap, like top lessons learned or top takeaways with regard to distance and endurance sports with keto, because I feel like I did learn a few things that could be applicable to somebody that's like a cyclist. Because it was the first time I'd really done any of that, so I learned quite a bit in doing so. But electrolytes are huge, I could tell you that for sure. No shirt either, but in offboarding, I've only gained 0.3 pounds, so must be doing something right. Take patience. Yeah, 0.3 pounds in offboarding is key. Speaking of offboarding, there's a really, really, really good podcast that just came out on Joe Rogan's show. He had Dom D'Agostino and Lane Norton on there. And Lane Norton's kind of like a flexible dieting advocate, and Dom D'Agostino obviously is a ketogenic advocate. But they did talk quite a bit about basically offboarding. They didn't call it offboarding, they called it reverse dieting, but it's the same concept. So it was a really good insight into what's happening on a biological level there with regard to offboarding. So I highly encourage you to listen to that if you get the time. Main thing is just to gradually increase your calories. So many people that do an extreme deficit and then just start a whole bunch of calories. That's the worst thing you could do, and it's not good. I saw it. Curious on this. When doing offboarding, do people find that their protein threshold is the same as they found in phase 1? A little bit, which is kind of why I recommend keeping it at 0% as opposed to putting in a fat ratio, because everything changes. Everything's subject to change. Your body is very flexible and very adaptable. So you don't tend to want to just lock it into any one thing. Like I said, if you've done the course multiple times and you're very, very familiar with your body, then you can, kind of get a head start and know what your fat ratio is. But if you don't, then I would definitely encourage you to leave it at 0 because things are subject to change for sure. Like I can tolerate a really high fat ratio, but when I'm in the off season, I'm trying to build or try to put on a little bit more mass, then I'll tend to have a little bit lower fat ratio. Still high by most people's standards, but a little bit lower. And I would never be able to really fine tune that if I left it at a certain set point. Can you please explain why do we count daily calories instead of weekly, for example, or half day? I don't know. For example, if I overeat yesterday, I could eat less today. Is that okay? Good question. I do not recommend doing that. Like if you overeat one day and then undereat the next day, like that's a lot of variation to your body. That's gonna kind of lend itself to like a yo-yo effect, and you're always kind of caught in this like makeup or catch up or fixing phenomenon, which is just unhealthy to be honest with you. So I don't recommend doing that. I recommend just having your daily macro goals and sticking to that. And if you mess up, then just consider it history, get back on track, and then be as consistent as you can going forward. I mean, you want to just remove variance and that consistently as possible. And if you have like a daily goal that you're sticking with, it's much easier to do that. And you're not constantly trying to make up for overconsumption or underconsumption on prior days. A lot of people, that's kind of like the gateway for them getting into just yo-yo dieting as a whole. They'll mess up and they'll try and refix it, and it's a slippery slope basically. But one meal a day is too much at a time. Two, why is it daily? A time two. You can break it up into multiple meals a day. You don't have to have one meal a day. If you wanted to have, two meals a day, 2 meals a day. Sometimes I have 3 meals a day, but I never exceed that. But usually 2 meals a day is kind of like the sweet spot for keto. I was on first DSK, so I have about 8 more pounds to lose. Have you done the reverse dieting? Are you pretty solid there? Typically, I remember being in a reverse or an offboarding phase as long, like double the amount of time that you were in a deficit. So if you were in a deficit for 3 months per se, then you would want to double that at least and be in an offboarding or maintenance intake for, 6 months, maybe even 9 months prior to a deficit, or even longer. You're not gonna do anything wrong by going longer. You'll do damage if you jump in too soon. So you can take longer if you'd like. The longer you take at maintenance, the better. The foundation for your body to kind of reset its metabolism and hormonal standpoint. So that would be a positive for sure. Any other questions? These are good questions, though. I like this reverse dynamic because a lot of people don't pay attention to that, and they just kind of forget it. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? It's only 4:22 now, so we still. I maintained, lost 8 pounds on first one. Very good. Yeah, if you lose 8 pounds, you maintain that afterward, really good thing. You can have you been able to build up your calories beyond what you started at initially in the offboarding? So the idea is to limit variation and keep consistent. It won't be okay to make 1 meal a day and next day make 3 meals, even if the calories are the same. You can do that. Like you can the same on a daily basis, and then one day you have like 1 meal, the next day you have 3 meals. That is better in my opinion than having day-to-day total macro intake. So I would rather you have 1 meal on Monday and 3 meals on Tuesday, but the same macros for both days, as opposed to Monday you have an extra 500 calories, and then on Tuesday you have less than 500 calories, or minus that 500 calorie. I would prefer you kind of have the variation in the meal frequency as opposed to total macro intake. Let's see here. I wish I could ignore it. Ignore, what I miss a question? What are we ignoring here? Talking about the protein thresholds. How does your coaching one-on-one differ from DSK? So my coaching is just much more involved rather than you following a course that kind of gives you guidelines for you setting your own macros. I adjust your macros personally. And then I also have daily communication with you. It's just a lot more hands-on, a lot more involved, but the principles are the same. Offboarding, you just talking about it. Yeah, offboarding is really important though. Like offboarding, that's the thing, y'all. People don't want to increase their calories beyond a point where they think they're going to build a lot of body fat, But offboarding is where you reset things. Offboarding is improve your sustainability with any lifestyle, any kind of food plan. So it's very, very crucial, and it's very, very critical to pay much would or the deficit. So definitely give offboarding its due attention for sure. That's what happens with a lot of these competitors, is because they compete. They jump on stage, they at such a deficit, and then afterwards they just let their diet go, down the deep end, and then they put on more body fat than when they started, and it's just a very unhealthy, very taxing thing on the body. It's not good from any perspective. But you can minimize that with a proper offboarding or reverse diet. You have to be patient. Be patient. You have to accept that and then just write it down and give it the time it needs. Any other questions? That was my buddy just texted me saying congrats on the marathon. He's much more of a runner than I am. Randomish question. Since I have you here, have you heard from that person you were going to reach out to? Heard from the person I was going to reach out to. Who is I going to reach out to? You may have to email me on this one because I do not know what person you are referring to. Shoot me an email. I mean, I'm late on my emails. I'm trying to get caught up on my emails today, so you may have already emailed me, and I have not seen it yet. So I will check emails today and tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a catch-up day as well. This marathon kind of screwed up my whole week and weekend for sure, but I will check that and know what you were talking about. What else we got? Any other questions, ladies and gents? Like I said, I'm meeting with Keto Connect on Thursday. So we're going to put our heads together and see if we can bring some more value to y'all. See if we can find some more good content to add to the course. Kind of see what the long-term projectile of DSK is going to be. And just, put our minds together and see what we can do to make this more beneficial. I've got a list of all the recommendations y'all posted thus far. And I'll bring all that to their attention. And then we will hash out some improvements. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. If there aren't any other questions though, ladies and gents, I will hit the end stream button on here and pick up where we left off next week. I might do like a joint Q&A with Keto Connect. Thank you for doing DSK. Well, thank you, Shannon. I appreciate you taking it. It means the world to me. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, until next time, more phase 3 support. That's a good idea. I'm all about phase 3 support. There's a lot more variations in that because you start introducing the ketogenic refeeds. So we can start doing that for sure. I'll bring that to their attention and see what we can do and dive into there. I started DSK end of May, but had to end mid-July, low and traveling. So didn't really get to do phase 3 and offboarding properly. Decided to restart 2 weeks ago at 1,700. I have 20 pounds to lose. Do you think I should wait longer to restart? I don't know how low you got down to at the depth of your first round. So that would kind of determine how long you should wait to start again. But 1,700 is a pretty good starting position. Possibly stress offboarding more in the course. Yes, that's a good idea. Almost 1,300. Yes, so 1,300 is pretty low. And you started, you said mid-July or end mid-July. Started in May. So about 2.5 months. Yeah, 1,300 is pretty low, and you're just starting again now. I would probably start a little bit higher than 1,700. Then I'd probably start at least at 1,800 and give yourself a little bit more runway there. But I like the idea of doing some more support, more content for the offboarding in phase 3, because those are very critical phases for sure. So I will definitely bring that to Casey's attention, and we will see if we can create some more content, more value there, and make this more beneficial for every one of y'all. So with that said, thank you very much for jumping on the live. We will do another one next week. We will talk to you soon. Take care. Love y'all. Adios.